Another highlight of the spring game was an appearance from the recently hired athletic director, Lynn Swann. We brought in USC football reporters Keely, Eure, and Paolo Uggetti to discuss the recent news. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, as you guys know, the hiring on Wednesday came as a bit of a shock, and you could say it was a shock to Lynn Swann as well.
There are a lot of things in my life that I think I planned for. This was not necessarily one of them, but it's one of those great unexpected outcomes, I think, that I'm looking forward to.
I think the main reason people were so surprised is because Swann has zero experience as athletic director. So is his lack of experience a problem?
For me, that was the main concerning thing, especially when you look at what's happened with USC athletics in the past 4 or 5 years. There's a lot of things that the AD had to have his hands in, and it's a lot of, you see what it did to Pat Hayden. It's a lot of stress. It's a high profile job, and if you don't have experience coming into a place like USC, it is concerning. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, he does have some political and broadcasting experience. Obviously not correlated to an athletic director experience. It's one of the biggest jobs in the country. So I can see why that, to some people, may be an issue that, they're like, let's see how he does, because he doesn't have a track record as to the decisions he's going to have to make. Yeah,
and so he mentioned that while some athletic directors, if someone who was a previous athletic director, they would have that experience, but nobody's going to have previous experience at USC who they're bringing in. So that was his counterpoint to that argument. But while his lack of experience is obviously a weakness for him, Nikias did hire him for a reason. And so, guys, what does Swann bring to the table as an athletic director?
Well, I think, first of all, he said it, and he was very clear about this in his press conference. He wants 3 things from the student athletes. He wants them to graduate, he wants them to win, and he wants them to experience. So from that perspective, it really looks like he has a plan. We talked about maybe no experience, and maybe that will hurt him in the long run. But for right now, it looks like he has a plan regarding the student athletes and what he wants to do as he manages the athletic program.
Yeah, he made it really clear that his focus was on the student athletes. Before he even met with the press, he met with the team captains, and he talked to them, and he made it really clear that he wants them to graduate. Even when he came and visited the football team, the players were all saying he talked about graduating, which is something, if you're a new AD, that's interesting to talk about as your first thing. So it's clear that he wants his focus on those students.
And I mean, USC athletics, aside from maybe football, is in a pretty good spot. You have a lot of, as we've detailed, a lot of winning teams right now. So while there may not be a ton of pressing issues for him to focus on right now, that will leave him with the potential time to focus on the student athletes themselves.
I want to stress to you that today's announcement isn't so much about me, but what I hope we can achieve together. What motivated me to take this job were the young men and young women at USC.
I think hearing that showed me a lot as to what his plan is going forward, because USC in the past few years has been a program that's been riddled with a lot of controversies off the field or with coaches or with leadership. So just hearing that his focus is on the student athletes and that he wants them to succeed and be the forefront of the program, that shows a lot of where he wants to take the program.
Yeah, and it looks like USC, they have a lot of coaches locked down. They look like they're in a place where they actually can focus on the players and focus what's going on the field instead of the drama off the field.
I mean, and that's good for the student athletes because they come to USC to develop as people as well as players. So it's good to see an athletic director who's committed to doing that and furthering their time here at USC.
Exactly. And with Pat Hayden stepping down officially on June 30th, Swann will take over the reins on July 1st.